Opinions expressed are those of the program host and guest and not WSTU. WSTU does not endorse any products mentioned. Any reproduction or retransmission of this broadcast is strictly prohibited without written consent of WSTU.
The Treasure Coast longest-running local talk radio show is on the air. The Treasure Coast Forum, brought to you by... Interested? Get educated, get involved, and give us a call with your opinions at 220-9788. And here's your host of the Treasure Coast Forum.
Welcome back to WSTU 1450, the Treasure Coast Forum. I'm your host, Cassidy Fowler, and today I'm joined here with
Jillian Plymouth.
All right. So sadly, Jenna did not join us for this one.
Aww.
Hopefully she'll be here next time. Maybe I can get into contact with her and she can catch up with us.
She can zoom in, yeah. Literally and figuratively, yes. Yeah. All right. Very good. So what's up on the docket?
Well, cue the music for the good, the bad, and the ugly, Frank.
All right.
Get into that.
All right. Let me get to it. Stand by. And gotta cue the music. It's, where did it go? There it is. All right. Unmute it. Here we go. All right. Take it away.
All right. So this week for the good, the bad, and the ugly, we'll start off with the good. So
going on now through Saturday. It's
Sorry
Bell's
about that.
Memorial Day.
Nice ad.
Sorry
in
about that.
Maryland, Ocean City, there is this restaurant called the Fishtails Bar and Grill that is implementing a new way to social distance while still being able to go out and about. It is, I wish that I could show you guys. They're called bumper tables, and basically it is, it almost looks like, how do I describe this? This table, you stand in the middle of almost like this big inner tube that has a radius of 6 feet. And so basically the inner tube acts as a table, but it also acts as like a bumper table. So you're not able to get within 6 feet of somebody, but you could still enjoy socializing outside.
Right.
And so this restaurant has invested in this company that is developing it. And right now these bumper tables cost $150 to rent and $400 to buy. I wish that I could, let's see, I could actually screen share if I have. Let me see if I have an image of it.
So that's under the good, right?
Wait, what?
That's under the good.
That is under the good, yes. I can't seem to find, maybe after the break next time, I'll show a photo of it just so that it makes a little bit more sense. Because,
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
But that's for the good. That's
All
a
right.
little bit stretched out. But for the bad,
I think I've seen that.
I saw it on
So
social
funny.
media, and I thought it was a pretty good idea, but a little bit pricey for a table.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Well, for the bad, we have in local news, a 41-year-old man had died yesterday by lightning. He was struck by lightning while working outside with a backpack blower on, and his co-workers, which were also doing yard work, said that they heard a loud explosion followed by the victim, Jose Rivera, on the ground. Now, Rivera was immediately rushed to Tradition Hospital and sadly died an hour later. So that just proves how dangerous that lightning is, and that you must stay inside when the weather is bad. Definitely, yesterday was the worst weather.
When you get those phone alerts, you need to pay attention, right?
Even though there's a very low possibility you could be struck by lightning, it is still a potential.
That's
and
right.
I actually had a friend that yesterday his boat was struck because he was kind of stupidly out during that time and his boat was struck. So the fact that basically 2 people were struck in one day proves that the chance of it happening isn't as low as you think.
Right. Okay.
So for the ugly segment, we have in Hope Sound, in other local news, in Hope Sound, the recent storms have caused 15-inch floods in some areas. And personally, I live only a 2-minute walk away from the area that was hit worse, which is Sandcastle Circle in Hope Sound. And one resident says that his entire garage has been flooded because of the water, and it's really a shame because he lives right. I know exactly who this person is, and he lives right off of Gomez, if you know what that street is.
Sure.
And there are insane floods there of 15 inches. The problem is people tend to drive fast on Gomez, and the water creates wakes, and the wakes are pushing into his house and his neighbors' houses and creating even worse flooding. So the lesson to take away from that is to drive slow in areas with flooding, because it not only hurts your own car, but it also could hurt the residents around.
So if you are a sign maker, this could be a new opportunity for you. You can actually post road signs that call for a no wake zone.
Oh, wow. I'm surprised that they didn't build the road and like those houses with the intent that it could flood.
Yeah, probably.
Aren't we below sea level? Well, we're not below sea level.
Well, we're pretty close to at sea level.
Pretty close, yeah.
So yeah, likely the houses were built before the every so often they change the rules what the elevation it should be for the house above the road line, and I believe they've changed that in recent years. So the homes in that area may precede the new construction requirements for housing.
There goes my dog.
All right. Very good.
So that was our new segment, The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly.
All right.
And we'll try to keep pushing that out every single episode. Make that.
There you go.
We also have to bring back the light counter eventually.
Yes. We should do that next. Well, you won't be here next week. After next week, we'll bring back the light counter. Okay.
Yep. Sounds good.
All right. Who's going to be in charge of that?
I don't know, because usually Ethan was in charge of that.
Yeah. Now Ethan is he's no longer available.
I mean, no, he is available.
All right.
I'm sure that he could even hop in on this show.
There you go. There you go. The more the merrier.
Maybe I'll give him a call during the break.
There you go. All right. So good. That'll be nice. All right. So that completes our good, the bad, and the ugly. And now we move on. What do we got next?
So more kind of sad news, actually quite bad news. And this has been all over social media and the news. So a man was brutally murdered by a police officer in, where was it?
How about the word callous?
Callous?
Yeah. Callously
murdered?
Yeah. Because from the video, it seemed to me that the police officer was pretty unemotional, was pretty callous. That's the word I would use.
And we're talking about the death of George Floyd. He was 46 years old, and he was murdered in Minneapolis by a police officer. So originally he was going to be arrested for trying to pay with counterfeit money, and that's why the cops were originally called. But they, I don't know how exactly the situation escalated, and I haven't really found evidence of how the situation escalated.
That would be interesting to get that backstory, but whatever the backstory is, the officer and the three other officers that were there on the scene witnessing what was going on, they were all fired within the hour.
And I think that is like very quick action on that, but
yes,
I think more action should be done. Some people are saying that the officers should be charged with murder.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So, but initially generally what happens in a lot of situations where law enforcement is involved, they get put on desk assignment, they get put on restricted duty, they're in suspension, that sort of thing. Very seldom are they unilaterally just fired. So it seems to me that the chief felt that the information that he was getting initially within the hour was so compelling that that it warranted firing immediately. So
Mhm.
that I think that speaks volumes to how egregious this particular action is. You know.
Mhm.
Yeah, I agree.
And it's important to note, and what might explain why the officers took, not exactly explain, but might give a little bit of reason why the officers took such
Aggressive.
heinous actions against George Floyd,
Mhm.
is that George had a criminal past and he was arrested for armed robbery back in 2007.
Mm.
So I could only imagine what the actual backstory is behind this that led to him on the floor being basically suffocated. Well, not suffocated, being choked.
Yeah.
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 But in the video, it shows him pleading for his life,
Mhm.
and the officers remain callous, their
Mhm.
expression.
Mhm. Yeah.
And I think it's very sad that this video went as viral as it did. I believe that this should be in the news and that it should go viral, but the actual video of him being choked shouldn't go viral because I feel as though it desensitizes the public of these heinous actions.
Mhm. And
I-
go ahead.
Oh, I actually kind of disagree with you on that a little bit. I feel like the more videos that we put out there, the more the public can see what's really going on. And I think more attention actually needs to get drawn to it. But on the other hand, like you said, it could desensitize the public. But I think the good of showing the video outweighs the bad.
Do you think that there's a possibility that when these videos go viral like that, it's almost like a call to arms for people to riot and give them an excuse to riot? And
I don't think that it's an excuse to riot. I think that it's a call to justice, but I don't think that these videos.
but if okay, when people are rioting, there's no justice in that.
Mhm.
If people are protesting, that's fine. You have the right to protest. But when you are a business owner on a public road and you have a retail shop and all you want to do is conduct commerce and sell products and services so you can pay your employees, feed your family, pay the rent and pay your taxes. That's your whole motivation. And somebody puts a brick through your window and all your stuff is stolen. That's not justice.
Yeah,
That doesn't serve any real purpose other than, you have a crowd of people who are wound up over admittedly a very bad situation. I find it difficult to wrap my head around how an innocent business owner or many business owners where their shops are burned to the ground, they can no longer conduct commerce. It's I have a hard time reconciling that. The family of this particular individual that was killed is pleading with the public not to riot, not to burn and loot. So they get it.
Yeah, I don't think that the riots are justified by any means, but I believe that the video was put out with the intent to bring justice. But I feel as though, like many other videos that are published of somebody's the Black Lives Matter movement, with them posting videos of African Americans being victimized by police, I don't think that these videos are actually bringing justice, because there have been so many different instances of this, and it's happening time and time again, and it seems that there's little to no change happening.
It, like I say, I feel like it's more like a call to arms to give people an excuse to do, other bad things. And one bad thing doesn't necessarily, give permission to do another bad thing.
But the question is, how do you bring justice? What is the correct way to bring
the legal system? I mean, so obviously you have people that so justice is not in the streets. I'm sorry. The streets are good for protest, for complaining, but justice happens in the courtroom.
Mhm.
That's where justice is levied out, because we are a country of laws, not of men.
Mhm.
So my admonition to folks would be, if you want justice, you take your video to the police station and you swear out an arrest warrant for those police officers so that justice can be served, so they can be arrested and tried and convicted of whatever count of murder, whether it's first degree, second, third, however they want to categorize it. That would be up to the prosecutors. But that's how you get justice. You don't get justice by burning down a legitimate business in the street. I don't get that.
No. And I fear that this is only going to continue, that these videos are only going to keep going viral. I believe that that the story should go viral, but the videos shouldn't, because the videos are easily accessible to even children. A child could see these
Right.
awful videos and be scarred by them.
Hmm.
So, but there is no way really to put a cap on that, because media is so just
Well,
free.
yeah, I mean, you have the free exchange of information, and so yeah, I mean that's self editing, or self, like I say, editing, self control as to what you want to release. But again, I just circle back to that. What purpose does it serve to put that out there? It only riles people up. It's a call to arms. Let's go, do bad things. I just don't see that where it serves a real purpose. You go down, you get a public officer to a public defender, or you go to the courts and you say, I want to swear an arrest warrant. And there is a proper way to get justice, but you don't get justice by starting fires in the streets.
No. Yeah, I agree with that. And my hearts go out to all victims of police brutality and their families, and also the shop owners.
Mm-hmm.
But in relation to commerce, I was thinking about how shopping could permanently be changed as a result of the coronavirus. Now, we've already seen recent changes in businesses, such as business closing and curbside pickups, and even businesses going completely online. But where was I going to go? An example of this is in downtown Stewart at April Days. So they've applied many different precautionary measures, such as closing one of their entrances and allowing only limited capacity.
Mm-hmm.
But where was I going to go? My question is, will this hold up. Let me get my words together. Give me a second. But after basically the coronavirus, when hours, I got it now. I got it. I'm so sorry. This is a little off. But so basically after Corona, I hope that businesses will return back to normal with their hours as normal, and will have no face masks, but there'll be better cleaning habits. Because we've seen that before the coronavirus, that cleanliness in stores wasn't really a concern. That many things weren't really cleaned, like door handles weren't cleaned, and I hope that things of that nature will be cleaned. There we go.
All right.
End of talk.
Well, yeah. So funny you should mention it, because I've been into April Days, and many of the businesses downtown. It's part of my role with Stewart Main Street, and the city of Stewart is going to be soon releasing a series of videos called "We're Ready," and where they interview all the business owners, as many business owners that wanted to be on camera, and talk about the steps that they are following, CDC guidelines, and that they are, wanting to remind potential customers, previous customers that want to come back to their stores, that that their store can be a safe place for them to venture into. They've got new merchandise, fresh merchandise that's available, good prices, friendly staff that's available to serve them. And they are taking all the proper precautions, whether it's the ice cream store or the clothing store or the jewelry store, or the art gallery, all the different businesses. The common theme was we're ready, and and so from April Days was on the video, and so you'll be seeing that shortly. We'll probably be the city's going to be putting out on all their media, and Stuart Main Street will pick that up, and we'll put that out on our media as well, and so that'll be good for the general public in our area, that to kind of give them that comfort to know that these businesses are very serious, and they are taking the whole notion of customer safety very serious. They just didn't unlock the doors and say, okay, we'll see what happens. They're wanting their customers to understand that they are very very much concerned and serious about their customers' health and safety, and want them to come back time and time again.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's good, but yeah. I really hope that the coronavirus doesn't permanently impact commerce, because we are now seeing an increase in e-commerce.
Oh yeah.
According to Forbes, e-commerce is up 68%.
Right.
So more people are shopping online because they see it is definitely more safe.
So the counterbalance to that, and I'm actually working on that. It's funny you should mention that. So the counterbalance to that is these very same brick and mortar stores can offer a shop over the computer service. So for the customers that aren't comfortable about coming in, or maybe not able to, or maybe they're, during the summer months, they live out of state, but they still want to make that purchase. They can go onto that store's website, make those purchases, and still get, that good product, those good services. I think the only one that probably wouldn't, be a good match would be the ice cream store. But I think, that's going to be a problem. But
I should fudge probably, I'm thinking.
But anyways, so there's a comprehensive effort taking place downtown for the brick and mortar stores that already have a internet e-commerce service available. Maybe they'll enhance and grow that, because they're already seeing an increase in those business numbers. And then the ones that really haven't relied that heavily on that are now looking at that as a way for them to still capture some of that business and still keep their brick and mortar store. So pretty cool.
Yep. Are we getting close to our
We are indeed. Let me see. Let's see if we can. There you go. There's that mystical music. And we'll be right back. So before we go on break, are we going to stay on the same connection, Cassidy?
No, I'm going to restart the call.
Okay, very good. All right. And we'll be right back in just a few minutes. Hello. Hello, hello. Back in 30. $15 seconds. That's your cue.
Hi, and welcome back to WSTU 1450, the Treasure Coast Forum.
Hey, good
time.
job. All right. All right. Took a little bit, but she was there. She gave a
We
good,
got
strong
it. We'll
performance.
get you down on the queue. Don't worry. Don't worry.
Yeah.
I love it. That worked out great. All right. So I noticed when you put together the schedule for the show and you had a list of great items that you wanted to talk about. One of the things that was omitted, and I think it was just an omissions error, was the launch of man to space that was supposed to take place yesterday.
Oh,
To boldly go where we kind of been before, but we're getting back there again on our own spaceship from our own country to our own space station. And it's going to take place on Saturday now. The weather was kind of inclement yesterday, and they were concerned about the crew safety, so they're going to give it another go about 3:30 on Saturday afternoon. So take a look in the sky about 3:30 in the northeast sky, and you should see the SpaceX Falcon 9 or the Dragon capsule on its way to the International Space Station. Should be a wonderful sight. So I thought I'd kind of share that with a little bit of little audio there, but okay. So there you go. Whoops.
we should talk about how NASA found evidence for parallel universes.
Wow, what
That
that's
would
a,
be-
Ooh, yeah.
wow, there you
I
go.
haven't read up much on that, but I think that'd be a very
That's a
interesting
fun topic. Yeah, you want to talk about that now or later?
I don't know too much about it, but if you could take over the conversation, if you know about it.
No, I'm just aware of the fact that there's many theories and they've mathematically are looking at that. And but yeah, if you want to go ahead and do some research, there is actually some validity to that. It's called a multiverse theory.
Mhm.
And it is a fascinating subject. And but yeah, if you want to look into it, and then on a future
Yeah,
show, we can. That's one of those things where that's not time centric. We could talk about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can look it up and we can do it next week. I'll
No,
definitely look into
nice.
that. That seems so cool.
It is
Perfect.
cool. Yeah. 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 So what's next on your docket?
Well, I have some news on the coronavirus and also news on Hong Kong,
Okay.
as well as the email that you sent me relating to how education is outdated.
Yes. Yeah. You picked up on that, huh? That was a fascinating article, wasn't it?
Yeah, let's talk about it right now.
Okay.
I actually thought that it was really fascinating. It's
Mhm.
the thing that I have been thinking about for a while, how our
Mhm.
education system is outdated.
Mhm.
Because if you think about it, we've had the same style of education for I don't even know how long, but
Well,
many
since the
lifetimes.
country was founded over 200 years ago,
Mhm.
if you really think about it, the whole notion of kids going to school during the winter months was because they weren't needed to work on the farm. And then they were off during the summer so they can help with all the farm work.
Yep. At least they haven't gotten rid of summer.
Yeah,
vacation
summer break.
for
Yeah.
us. Well,
but
that would have
summer
really
break.
would've
But let me
been
tell you, for the kids back at the founding of this country, summer break was no break at all.
oh,
There's a
But-
lot of horse stalls to be cleaned and cows to be milked, and you get up at dark 30 by the rooster. I love it.
well, education nowadays tends to center on concepts such as math and science and literature. But
Mhm.
those are pretty outdated concepts, and well, not outdated, but they're concepts that don't seem as vital to life as they did
applicable.
in the past.
Mhm.
Applicable, yep.
Yeah.
And that is because we have this wonderful thing called the internet. Now, since we have this great source of knowledge, how important is it to really gather knowledge ourselves when we have it at our fingertips at all times?
Yeah.
That's my question. But so basically, what the video that you showed me and what my personal beliefs are include that since we have this endless information at our fingertips, the education system shouldn't be teaching us these outdated concepts, but should rather be looking into more applicable concepts such as teaching logical and critical thinking skills. Because I think that would
There's
definitely
a lot of
be
critical
more,
thinking skills are sorely lacking in many adults, in fact. But yeah, and so certainly that could be well utilized. Critical thinking skills, I think, are just
Mhm.
I definitely agree
ideal.
with that.
Yeah, because since we do have all this information at our fingertips, in my opinion, we don't really, well, we should rather learn how to identify the correct information.
Mhm.
It's not, in my opinion, that important anymore to memorize. I can't think of an example, but
Yeah, learn how to learn instead of just giving information that, I'm going to be honest, most of the stuff that I learned, I definitely forget. But what stuck with me is the study skills and the working with other people and the learning how to learn.
yeah,
Right.
that's definitely what I think should change within the education system. And I think that also starts, and what the video pointed out, that the first place that we could start bettering our education system is by treating our educators better. Right now, teachers have such a low and awful pay, and it seems like their job isn't even worth it for the amount of money that they're paid.
Mm-hmm.
So if they were treated better and paid at a more fitting salary, then maybe we would see a change in our education.
And I also think what comes with that and the better treatment is really redoing the system. And because I think obviously there are amazing teachers out there, but there are also definitely problems in our system. And think the whole education system just needs a little revamping.
Yeah, it's outdated for sure.
Yeah, and that way we can pay them more and we can give them more benefits.
Mm-hmm. And another thing relating to the education system, that the end all be all should be college, isn't really a great way of thinking, because something that really isn't highlighted in high school and that I think should be more focused on is the idea of going to a trade school after high school.
Yeah, trade skills, yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because that is, unlike college, after trade skill, you're basically guaranteed, well, I don't want to say guaranteed a job, but
just about
guaranteed a job, but they're not as expensive as college and they don't take as much time.
Mm-hmm.
And they can make just as much or more.
Exactly. Yep. And it's generally, you see in high school, at least I've seen, being, well, now a graduate of high school, is that when recognizing where people are going after high school, we tend to honor the people that are going to college more than those that are joining the workforce and going to trade schools, which I just think isn't right, because if anything, the people going to trade schools are
they're building the country that the college folks get to use.
Exactly.
Yes.
And they're, if anything, being a little bit smarter, because they're not the ones that are going to be in debt in a few years.
Yeah.
They're gonna be the ones with the salary already.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. A lot to be said
I like
for that.
that video that you sent me. It was a pretty cool topic.
Yeah. Well, good. Occasionally I kind of stumble on things. So very good. Very good. What else is next? We got 2 minutes before our next break.
Well, I'll give a little information to our listeners, just a little bit of an update of the amount of cases of COVID-19 in our area.
Mm-hmm.
So in Martin County, we have 557 cases with 9 dead. And in St. Lucie County, there are 424 cases with 29 dead.
Mm-hmm.
And if you ever feel as though you are suffering from symptoms of COVID-19, please go to the testing locations. We have 2 major testing locations, one at Martin Memorial North Hospital at 200 Southeast Hospital Avenue, Stuart, Florida.
Mm-hmm.
And their testing hours are 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. daily.
Right.
And also Tradition Hospital, which is 10,000 Southwest Innovation Way, Port Salerno.
And from the comfort of your
Port
home,
St. Lucie, sorry.
right? From the comfort of your home, from your own phone, you can actually do a kind of a CDC test online. It's a test to see. You answer a few questions to see if there's a possibility that you should investigate being tested further with the actual COVID test. But this is an online skills test, if you will, just to see if you have any of the symptoms that require further attention. So that's kind of a neat thing to do, and it takes about 2 minutes to fill in the blank, and then you get a, well, right now at this point it sounds like you're okay, or they might say, perhaps you should go to your nearest ER and that sort of thing, or get your test taken. So it's a good idea to do that first, so you don't overwhelm the test takers if it's unnecessary. Because I'm looking at the test results from the previous, because I don't have today's numbers like you do, Cassidy, but the negative results are 6,483. Those are people that were tested and tested negative, which means they don't have anything to worry about at this time. And the positive cases out of all the tests that were taken were only 535 that I have. So it's what, 5? You said 5?
I said 500. Wait, let me turn to the page. I have 557.
557. So they did another 22 more since the other day when I put this up. So, but again, over 6,000, almost 6,500 people tested negative. So that means a lot of folks are thinking that they have something, or they just want to test to make sure, just to give them peace of mind. And that's okay too. But, obviously this is a test to find out if you're positive. So my recommendation is do the online skills test first to see if you require any further assessment.
Mhm.
So,
Yep.
all right. With that in mind, let's take our regulation timeout, and we'll be right back. So stick with us. Coming up on a minute 30. Thirty seconds. $15. 10. 5.
Welcome back to WSU 1450, the Treasure Coast Forum.
All right. Good job, Cassidy. Next week, Cassidy is going to be picking up her new puppy, huh? What kind of puppy are you getting?
A little boy Weimaraner. It's going to have blue eyes and a gray coat. Well, actually, technically,
Oh my gosh, that's adorable.
Yeah, it's going to be so cute, and its name's going to be Ollie.
Oh.
Yeah. And I have a ritual of always picking out the runt, so it's going to be extra small. It's just pretty cool.
All right. All right. All
But
right.
I'll see if I can call in. If I'm driving, I might be able to hop on a Zoom call or like call to the station.
Yeah, just call in. That'd be great. We'd love to have you join us. Absolutely.
Sweet.
It just wouldn't be the same without you.
Oh, you know it.
All right. So we got a little under 10 minutes left. What do we got next?
So the New York Times put out a death list of 1,000 names in honor of the 100,000 that have died within the United States. Now, on this list, it included those who have died from the novel coronavirus, but many were quick to point out a blatant mistake. There was one man on the list named Jordan Driver Haynes, and he was 27 years old, and he was claimed to have died from the coronavirus. But in actuality, he had only fallen ill to the virus and was actually sadly murdered in a homicide. So, but many were quick to point out this error and claim that the media is being persuaded by the government to overcount those. To make up numbers of those who have fallen victim to the coronavirus.
It's really an overcount, really. Right.
Overcounting the pandemic's deaths.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. In an attempt to keep the government closed. So it's all just a big conspiracy theory, apparently.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah. Whereas, the accusation was that the Chinese government was deliberately undercounting.
Mm-hmm. But now over here in the States, there's accusations that we are overcounting.
And so this time, so a few months ago, they had predicted by this time we would have over 2 million COVID deaths here in the U.S. alone, based upon the statistical models that they were looking at.
Mm-hmm.
And so what are the U.S. numbers?
I believe that we have,
not even close, right? 100.
No,
you said 100,000,
I can assure
right?
you that it's not even close to that now.
Right.
I think, actually, I have this right here. I can read this little thing right here. So it says, out of the 1.68 million Americans diagnosed with COVID-19, almost 100,000, or about 5.9, are confirmed to have died from it to date. But most scientists agree that the true rate of death from all infected people, also known as the infection fatality rate, is likely to be lower when undiagnosed cases are added to the denominator. Many people who get sick with the disease show mild or no symptoms, and a lack of diagnosing testing in the United States also means that infections are undercounted, though no one yet knows by how much.
Fair enough.
But the CDC did found that the number of those who are asymptomatic can be up to 35%.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a pretty big number of people that could potentially have COVID-19 but not even know it and are still practicing their daily routine. So that is quite dangerous. I'm not 100% sure. Are asymptomatic people still able to transmit COVID-19 to other people?
I believe so. I'm not a medical expert. I don't even play one on the radio.
So yeah, saying if the CDC is actually accurate with this statistic saying that 35% of people could be asymptomatic, that means that opening might not be the best idea because,
what about the herd mentality, right? Did we talk about that last week?
Yeah, we talked about that last week, but I read something that the herd mentality doesn't even matter. Apparently, that it won't work.
Okay.
What is that exactly?
So the herd mentality is the idea that everyone needs to get
be exposed, just exposed to it.
Be exposed to it at least.
Mm-hmm.
And those that have autoimmune deficiencies will not contract it by having everyone already have it, if that makes sense. How do I reword that? Basically,
I get that.
To protect those who have autoimmune diseases, everyone contracts it so that it can't be transferred anymore.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but I don't remember exactly why that's not a good idea.
It's not playing out. What was a Western European country made that decision? I think it was like Denmark or
Finland.
Sweden.
One of those.
Yeah.
It was one of those.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And they decided they were just going to just throw the dice and see what happens, right?
Yep. Mm-hmm. But that brings us to the idea of the death percentage. And the CDC has also suggested a new perceived percentage of death, which is totally different than what it was before. Now, the World Health Organization was saying that this death percentage was 3.4%. But now the CDC is conducting new tests and has 5 different scenarios with different death percentages ranging from, let me see if I can find it. Where is it? They have death percentages ranging, I believe, from 0.1% to 0.8%. And the best guess number that they think, the actual death percentages, is 0.4%.
So
And the problem with this, though,
less than
is
0.5%.
yes, less than 0.5%.
Mhm.
But and for reference, the yearly flu mortality rate is 0.2%. So basically, what the CDC is predicting, that the mortality rate is more than twice of the flu. But still, the range of values that they gave, the death percentage being from 0.1 to 0.8, is still lower than what is actually going on in New York City. In New York City alone, the death rate is anywhere between 0.86 and 0.93, which is obviously above 0.8. So the problem with the CDC's numbers is that they don't have enough information yet to correctly generalize the entire United States, because obviously
they have these extreme hotspots, and that's because of the governmental intervention. The state of New York decided that they were going to move patients from the hospital to assisted living facilities, and that is the reason why there's just the extreme amount of fatalities in these assisted livings for the elderly that would not have happened if these folks had stayed in the hospital.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's also important to note that the flu can't really be compared to the coronavirus, because when it's flu season, people do not self-quarantine and they don't shut down the economy. Right. But during the coronavirus, we've done all of those things.
And yet thousands do die from the flu.
Yes, thousands do die from the flu.
Yeah.
It just, the two different sicknesses
but that's the reason why it's used as a comparative, because in an instance we don't do anything about it. It's just like, okay, you got the flu,
Yeah, you got the flu. Yep. But do you think that, Frank, those two ailments can be compared with their?
I think if you're just trying to develop statistical models, it's okay to do the comparison. And I think it's fair to do, because in one model, you are not doing anything other than a normal lifestyle. So that gives you a good baseline to determine how you've treated the other one. So I think that's fair.
Mm-hmm.
If you like doing statistical analytics.
Yeah.
No thanks.
All right. Well, we'll be back next week, and we can pick this up with much more when we return. And we thank you for listening. Good night.